Howdies! Welcome to Funguy's Kitchen. I'm Funguy The Entertainer, and today we're going to make creamy garlic salad dressing. I've been to a lot of restaurants, and it's hard to find creamy garlic salad dressing anyway. They all say, all we got is ranch. Ranch is fine and dandy. It's not my favorite. Creamy garlic salad dressing is similar to ranch, only better, much better. So what you're going to need, and this is another one of these really easy shows because there's no cooking involved. You're just going to make this. You're going to want to make this a minimum of 4 hours before you use it. It's even better if you make it the day before. Garlic soaks into the mayonnaise and sour cream over time so that it permeates and makes the whole thing better over time. So don't just make it and serve it right away. I mean, you can, but it's not going to be the same. So what you're going to need is garlic cloves. This is one of those rare occasions where diced will not work. I would suppose that it would work, but in my opinion, no, because diced comes in a little bit of a gelatin form. You want real fresh garlic cloves. So you need 8 of them. You're also going to need a cup of mayo, a cup of sour cream, a teaspoon of salt, a tablespoon of sugar, 2 tablespoons of vinegar, a 1/4 cup of milk, and a 1/4 cup of Parmesan or Romano cheese. I actually have Parmesan and Romano in one container already pre-grated. You can use fresh cheese and grate your own. It's probably a little better that way, but the powdered works wonderfully, and it's very convenient, especially when you're trying to measure. So, the easiest way to do this is take the garlic out of the bowl. You want to think it ahead when you're mixing dry and wet ingredients in the same cup. So since we need a 1/4 cup of milk and a 1/4 cup of the cheese, do the cheese first. So I happen to have a nice brand new container of the cheese. We'll make the 1/4 cup in here. It's okay if a little bit falls in the pot. It's very minor. All right, so you got your 1/4 cup, put that in there. Done with the cheese, off to the side. Now do your milk. 1/4 cup of milk. You're better off using whole milk or buttermilk. If you are really watching your weight and stuff, you shouldn't probably be making this anyway because this is not a... Garlic helps make it healthier, but obviously mayonnaise, sugar, sour cream, those are not low-fat items, plus there are dairy. But to me, it's all about flavor, so that's what you do. All right, so now we have the mayo and the sour cream. I got a brand new container of sour cream. Usually I use the squeeze bottles from Daisy. I love those squeeze bottles. They're awesome. It keeps them fresher longer. You don't accidentally get mold. So, this is what makes this kind of interesting because you got to get a cup of this, and it's hard to measure a cup of something like this. So what I did is I have my 1 cup measure here. We're going to fill it with the sour cream first. You're going to want a rubber spatula that will fit in here because that's a thing. It needs to be able to come out. Okay, there we go, 1 cup. Now scoop it out. Oops. Don't splatter. I'm going to have to clean up my stove, which of course I clean it every time I use it, so get the excess off right away. You're going to do the same with mayonnaise. 1 cup of mayonnaise. I was going to pre-do all this. As you've noticed our show, we've been doing a lot of pre-prep, but it's important to show this particular style of doing this, or the method. By doing it in the order I'm doing it will make things a lot easier in the long run. Looks like I'm going to use most of the rest of this mayonnaise. Awesome. Okay, looks like 1 more should do it. Yep, that looks good. And we'll put that in here. All right, so I'm going to keep this here because we're going to use it to stir so I don't waste anything. I hate waste. I really do. It's inevitable when you're usually doing food stuff, but the less the better. Okay, so these are done. All that's out of the way. Salt, sugar, and vinegar could all go in next. So, the salt is 1 teaspoon of salt. You don't need a lot of salt on this one. Make sure I get the right one. This should be the teaspoon there. It is. So 1 teaspoon of salt. Bloop. And we need a tablespoon of sugar. One tablespoon of sugar, sprinkle it right on top. Then we need 2 tablespoons of vinegar. I like using the white vinegar on this because if you use the wine vinegar, balsamic vinegar, it's going to tint the color. I want to keep this white. I like the look of the white. So we're going to use 2 tablespoons. There we go. Put the lid on that. So the only thing now missing is the garlic. I have already peeled the cloves, so they're ready to go, but I did not cut the tips off. I should have done that first. Let me grab my cutting board here. And my knife. The very tips are a little hard. You don't want those in there. So cut the tips off. Looks like it started to grow, but that's okay. A little bit of green doesn't hurt anything on these because that's not mold. That's vegetable. Nothing wrong with that. So cut your hard tips off. And if you do use the fresh cheese, you're going to need a grater to do it yourself. That's the other advantage to having the dried pre-grated cheese. Very convenient, and because it's going to be soaking, the dry stuff is going to absorb more of the into the mayonnaise and sour cream mixture. All right, we have garlic press. There's 2 different kinds. This is the one you want because you want it minced. This is sliced. Oh, I forgot about that. Today is the day that they're doing the testing, which means my cell phone's going to go off too. All right, so remember 8 cloves. Just squeeze them, get it right in there, and just do them all, one right after another. You don't have to hesitate. There is a point where it starts to get a film in here. You can peel the film back and drop that in here. Oh, is that loud or what? Of course, that's what you want. You want to be able to hear it. If I was in the shop working with my party bus company, we obviously have a giant air compressor when we're working on stuff. And when that thing's running, you want that warning to be loud. Okay, here's the biggest one. This is going to be the hardest one to crush. There we go. Ooh, my eyes are starting to feel the garlic, or my nose, I should say, the sinuses. It's not like onions. Garlic does not affect you like onions do. With the eyes, it gets your sinuses instead. So it makes your nose run instead of your eyes. Oh, I love this stuff. Okay, last one. And of course, take your blade, slice off the edges of it, get it all in here. Now, if you were counting, there were actually 9. That's because 3 of them were a little smaller. So I put an extra small one in there to make it like 8 bigger pieces. Okay, that's good enough. The rest will clean. Now, literally, you just stir it. It's not that hard. You want to make sure it blends well. You can use a whisk. It's not necessary. They're harder to clean anyway. As you can see, it's a little bit thin, which is okay because it's going to sit When it sits and everything starts getting absorbed, it will thicken it up. Okay. Now, there's two things you want to remember. You do not want to put this in the refrigerator uncovered. If you do, it's going to absorb stuff in the refrigerator, plus anything that's in the refrigerator that can absorb odors is going to absorb the odor of the garlic. Make sure you cover this before you're going to put it in the refrigerator. So literally, this is how simple this is. 4 hours minimum. So do it lunchtime or breakfast before you go to work so that it's ready for your dinner, or do it at dinner one day to serve it the next day. I'm not going to waste this. It's not going to come off in here. So what I'm going to do is, oh, is that delicious? Absolutely fantastic. And that's going to be better after it sits. All right? So that's how simple this show is today. Even though it's not from the meat department, Piggly Wiggly, Steinberg's Piggly Wiggly here in Delman is my meat sponsor. So I'll let people know about that. We are working on a cookware sponsor. May have one lined up. We've been doing some negotiating. We're still looking for a cutlery sponsor. I never mentioned that because I have cutlery. The problem is it is old. It is starting to have issues. I would love a cutlery sponsor. You do not have to be a cutlery business to be a sponsor. If you like the show and you just want to sponsor the cutlery, you can contact me and I'll tell you what it costs to put it together. And of course, we'll come up with something if you want it for, let's say you would like me to promote your other business, whether if it's not cutlery, you know what I mean. Like, let's say you're a car dealership and you just still want to sponsor my show. It'd be like so-and-so's car dealership is our cutlery sponsor. Very simple. All right, that's how this works. And am I missing anything? I feel like I'm missing something. Probably am, but that's okay. So I hope you enjoyed our show. I'm Funguy The Entertainer, cooking for you.